Hi guys, so today I am showing you a cute design and I am using a builder. I'm using the Build and Boost as my base from 20 Pro, and I just thought I would show you a quick shoot of the application before we get into the design. So the first steps on this one, let me get my camera angle, is the rubber base. So because the Build and Boost I have is the HEMA, whichever you want to pronounce it, free, they say to use a rubber base first. It gives you that extra adhesion and that extra sticky power, because obviously HEMA is your sticky ingredient in your gels. That's what makes it stick like a glue. So without that, it can be a little struggle. No, you did not just do that, you twit. I had gel on my palette pushed in the back of my lamp, but guess what I have been curing while sticking my hand in and out of there for the past 5 minutes. Righty-ho. We're lovely and organised, are we not? So the design I want to show you is this little cutie. This was its first trial and it was a ruddy damn disaster. I could not get the foil to foil and I didn't really like my lines, but I figured out where I went wrong. I saw the design on TikTok by a lovely lady and I thought, oh, they're just awesome. So although I said I was done with the pigments, I apparently lied, and we have one more video to go. So these ones from the 20 Pro are a 90-second cure, so they like you to cure on the low cure, the low heat slow cure setting, to avoid heat spikes, which is definitely a great idea. So we're just going to apply a slip layer and then go straight in with our bead. So when I read Build and Boost, I assumed Builder Gel, you know, for natural nails overlays only. But it turns out the Build and Boost can also be used on forms and tips for short to medium extensions, and it still has the build power for that. Not the build power, the strength. I do beg your pardon. It still has the strength for that, even though it's a builder gel, which is kind of awesome. It self-levels fairly fast, so you definitely don't need to be a slow poke with it like I just was. Let me just flip that upside down to get my apex. It's also very, very warm, so anybody who is currently playing with gels is going to know that your gels are very, very runny at the moment. If you are an acrylic girly, it is probably setting up quicker than you can put it on a nail and generally making a nuisance of itself. The sun and the heat definitely have some interesting effects on the nail world. So we are going to pop that in. I'm going to get the rest of my nails done. I just wanted to show you this base, and I'll be right back with the design. Okay, let's be having you. These took a little longer than I thought. I was bouncing between filming this and filming the same set for my TikTok channel. So it is now it's now 10 o'clock at night. It's been a very long day. I got up at like 10 to 4 this morning to go to a car boot. So you want to pop some on a palette also, just in case you need it. So you want to get some white gel polish, not paint for a change, polish. And you want to randomly splodge some of that on there. Doesn't need to be neat. In fact, kind of the messier the better. I kind of like that shape for that one. So you are going to pop that in to cure. Now this gel polish that I'm using is a 30 to 60 second cure. I am just going to 60 seconds, so I'm going to 30 second it, but I do beg your pardon. So I still want it that's slightly little bit more tacky. And instead of the brushes I normally apply my pigment with, I'm going in with dabbers so I can really press that pigment in there. I think that's why it didn't work the first time I tried. And maybe open these before you start. So you don't sprinkle powders all over yourself. So we have one I already used these colours for. So I'm just going in at the lid, and you just want to press them into your tacky polish. Oop. Probably force them in there. Make sure they get good and stuck. You can attempt to blend a little, but they probably won't, but that's fine. I kind of like the fact that they didn't for this look, to be honest. Press that in there. Then we are going to give that a dust. Just going to give that one a little more purpling in there. Yep. Right. Now this is where it layers up, because chrome does not stick to chrome, but I do not know if chrome will stick to pigment powder, and I forgot to check before starting this design. So I have my matte top coat, but instead of going over the whole nail, I am just going to go around where that design is, just so that it's protected, and I'm going to pop that in for a full cure. Now let's move those and then pray that I don't spill them, because I have not put the lid on. Now on this palette I want to put two of these. So I have my Blackjack gel paint, which is no wipe, which is perfect for chrome, but I also have a bunch of tubs of these. I don't remember where I got them from. It was probably Shein or Temu many moons ago, but it is a runny, essentially really thick no wipe top coat, but I found it was really good for chrome. So before I got my other products, that is what I was using, and I was just using that, but I kind of want the extra darkness behind from the black, and this black is a little thick lately because it's old and the tub's almost run out. So I am just mixing a little bit of that in with it, just to give me that little bit of darkness. I did have some on a palette earlier, which I promptly forgot about, and then shoved my hand in the lamp with it, so that is now cured. I'd love to tell you I'm not a disorganized person, but that really would be a lie. So you just want to scoop some of this up, and then you are just framing it. You can have thick bits, thin bits, coming off bits. You're just giving it a nice frame. You give it some little taily bits. You can even give it some little veins if you so wanted to. It definitely does not have to be neat, so you can blur those lines out. Be as sloppy and as messy as you like. And then you want to pop that into cure. So I only half cure. I 30-second cure that. And then you want a gold chrome. I've chosen an old one. It's a really, really dark gold. I got this back when I first started, so this could have been like an eBay or an Anywhere one, to be perfectly honest. You just want to dab that in there and give that a rub. And there we go. And then you just keep going. And this is how they're looking. Hope you give it a try. And I hope you enjoyed the very, very quick demonstration, guys. Stay cool during the summer and do not forget to hydrate either. It is so warm. So warm. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for more videos.